Welcome back to talknorth.com. Thank you for listening. If you can, please download before you listen. It helps our business. I'd also like to thank our producer, Brandon Morton, and let you know if you'd like to sponsor this program or any of the programs on the network, you can reach me at jsouhan47@gmail.com. talknorth.com is powered by Bite Squad. Go to bitesquad.com or download their app. Get food to your door in minutes. Use the promo code TALKNORTH to get your first delivery free. Talk North gets you your first delivery free. I usually don't do this, but I have to open with a rant. And as usual, it's about national announcers, National Football TV announcers. We will get to that. We will get to Linval Joseph's shades and everything else. Do want to thank Bite Squad, Mississippi Pub, Beaver Island Brewing, WizKids.tech, your local technology company, Twill in the Edina Galleria, FixologyRepair.com, and Tony Hoagland, your State Farm agent in Champlin. By the way, we do still have a deal with Bite Squad. Use the promo code TALKNORTH, one word, TALKNORTH. Get your first delivery free and support the network. We do appreciate it. And our next live show will be at Mississippi Pub, October 18th, about 5 o'clock, leading into Thursday Night Football. Come out, ask questions. They'll have a drink special of some kind. They'll have happy hour. It'll be a good time. That's Mississippi Pub in Inver Grove Heights. I'll give you their address and more information on them later. So, Tim, I'm watching Monday Night Football, and the Monday Night crew is struggling, and they do what so many of these people do. They take everything they heard in their staged interviews the previous day and repeat it verbatim on TV as if it's actually true, as if the Redskins were geniuses to let Kirk Cousins go and to trade for Alex Smith, and how it was all going to be great. And then we had to watch Alex Smith play like Alex Smith for 4 quarters while we already know that Kirk Cousins has been a hit here.
Well, I didn't catch that part where they were repeating all this about what a great move it was with Alex Smith.
But I did.
All I could think about in the parts of that game that I watched was Alex Smith, game manager. Yeah, maybe that's kind of true. And then, you look at what Andy Reid's done with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, and you go, there was a reason that Reid was ready to move on from Alex Smith. So right now, I think Kirk Cousins is smiling and just kind of happy with where things stand in his life.
Alex Smith is the quarterback you have while you're waiting for your quarterback. He's an appetizer, not an entree. He's a nice appetizer. He can play. He can run your team. He's got a great personality. He's got leadership characteristics. He can complete passes. And you're always going to want more. You're always going to want the guy who can throw deeper, who can take a few more chances, who can make bigger plays. That's just the way it is.
Well, I mean, the one interception he threw was just awful. I mean, he was late going there. He was weak going there. But by that time, I think everything had pretty much piled on top of each other. But you know what? The Vikings were in that position waiting for their next quarterback for 15 years besides 1 year of Brett Favre. And maybe one year Dante Culpepper.
Culpepper had Culpepper's 2004 season. He looked like a franchise quarterback. He just couldn't sustain.
Yeah. And that's why I say basically 15 years, 14 years, if you will. So yes, and then, I actually thought Sam Bradford was going to be that guy. I thought Teddy Bridgewater had a good shot to be that guy. But, as long as Kirk Cousins can stay healthy, I think he is that guy again.
And I'm really impressed with them. And I really like being able to go to games live and evaluate people on what I see breaking downfield. Cousins, listen, he's not perfect. I'm not making out to be the next Drew Brees or Peyton Manning. But it's amazing when a receiver breaks open, how often he sees him and how often he can find a way to get him the ball, even when he's under pressure. The arm angles he's throwing with. There were 2 throws on Sunday, Tim, where I thought by his body language and his release, he was just throwing the ball away. One of them was a very long completion to Thielen down the right sideline, and the other one was the touchdown to Thielen. Both times it looked like he was going to get crushed, and he's going, okay, play's over, I just got to throw it away. And he threw a perfect pass.
Yeah, and those are the ones where you celebrate it when it works, and with Cousins, it has worked so many more times than really it probably should. But he just seems to have this knack of figuring out who's going to be open before they're open. And that to me is an immensely impressive quality for a quarterback to have, because I think a lot of what he's doing under pressure, and we can get into this later, but I think it has to do with what he sees pre-snap and how he's reading things. And I talked to Thielen about it on Monday a little bit, and Thielen just seems to rave about everything that Cousins has been able to do. And kind of the cool part about it is, Cousins will rave about Diggs and Thielen. Thielen and Diggs will rave about him, and they all rave about John DeFilippo too. So it's kind of a good situation to have here, especially when you look around the league and you have guys like Odell Beckham or other people around the league kind of calling out offensive coordinators or head coaches for, what they perceive to be as a lack of going to me. And the Vikings just seem to want to do whatever works to win.
Let's talk about Philadelphia and the John DeFilippo connection here. We do want to tell you again, October 18th, 5 o'clock or 5-ish, we're going to do a show. We usually do the show about an hour, and that's going to lead into Thursday Night Football at Mississippi Pub, and that is 4455 66th Street East, Inver Grove East. That's in Inver Grove Heights, 651-455-4975. If you GPS it, it'll take you there. It looks like you're going to drive into the river, but it's actually a marina and a beautiful setting down there. They also do private parties. We really like their food, including their fried pickles and their burgers. Good place to hang out. And during the nicer months, they actually have a lot of stuff on their patio, including acoustic music and sometimes our show. I'm sure we will be inside by that point, but that'll make it nice and cozy. $6 burgers on Friday, 11 to 2 as well. And thank you also to Beaver Island Brewing, which helps sponsor our live shows out at Mississippi Pub, MississippiPub.com. And remember, if you want food locally in the Twin Cities area, go to Bite Squad, bitesquad.com, download the app, use the promo code TALKNORTH, and you will get food for your mood delivered and delivered free. So I know we're going to talk about the atmosphere at Philly. Let's first mention that it is really interesting to see the Eagles, who had dominant offensive performances against the Vikings and against Bill Belichick to win the championship last year, struggling on offense with a great young quarterback in play without Frank Reich and John DeFilippo.
Yeah, and I think it just kind of goes to show you that a lot of times, you got to have the players to win. There's no doubt. But I think coaching gets underrated, locally a little bit in each NFL market, where, people are only wanting to talk about coaching when they disagree with the way things are going with an offensive coordinator, or for several weeks here, Mike Zimmer on the defensive side of the ball. But when things are hot, everybody wants to talk about how good this player is, how good that player is. And I thought Pat Shurmur did a great job last year. And I think John DeFilippo is doing a great job this year, figuring out how to go to the strengths and try to mask the weaknesses as best as possible. And, those weaknesses are so far the running game and the offensive line. And despite not having a lot of time to throw much of the time, Cousins is finding ways to get the ball downfield and make it work.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks to our producer, Brandon Morton. Download before you listen. Better listening experience, better for us. And if you'd like to sponsor this program or any program across our fast-growing network, you can reach me at jsouhan47@gmail.com. And we can get you in really cheap if you want to try out one of our new developing shows like Kevin Gorg's Frozen Fantasy or Dibble Dabble with Ryan Shaver and Jordan Taylor. They're good shows. We're just getting them off the ground, so the cost of entry for sponsorships is very low right now. Philly was interesting, Tim. I was there. You watched the game at home. You know what? The fans were fine. It was a hellscape last time. It was awful. The fans are incredibly abusive and rude and physically dangerous. This just felt like a normal NFL game on the East Coast. There's some yelling, but really nothing that would raise alarms the way it did last time.
And they were actually booing for a while, right?
They were booing their own team. We stood up in the press box down by the end zone in which Thielen caught his touchdown pass, and when it became pretty obvious about 4 or 5 minutes left, the Vikings were probably going to win, a lot of fans got up and left, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, every fan base is great when their team's winning, and wants to think that they're the most hardcore. But especially coming off of a Super Bowl with high expectations, when things start going south, even the best of fan bases can bail on their teams fairly quickly. I mean, it's a shame he didn't have Sid in the press box to tell everybody, ask everybody, where are you going, and try to.
Where are you going?
Yeah. He has not done that in a long time, as far as I can tell. That was a big Metrodome thing for him.
Yes, it was. You and I had some quality time sitting in the locker room the other day.
Oh yeah. He's a spark plug.
Yeah, it was great. I can't wait to do it again. Let's talk about Linval Joseph.
So sincere.
Yes, I am. I'm dripping with sincerity. I'm soaked in sincerity. Let's talk about Linval Joseph, who I thought made the key play in the game. And really, it's amazing how often fan bases and teams celebrate their victory and act like it's just something that was destined to happen or they deserved. So many of these games come down to one play, one pivotal play. And I think Eagles are driving there. If they don't make that play and score on it, this game could have gone completely different. I give Linval a lot of credit for turning on the speed and getting in the end zone. And Stephen Weatherly, really, he probably deserves more of the credit for the play. It doesn't happen if he doesn't get to the quarterback there. But, I don't think you're that surprised that Linval could score from 64 yards out.
Oh, no, not at all. Well, actually, I'm so surprised that he had that kind of sustained speed.
Right.
But, a couple things. I mean, I think he's very underrated for his speed from the middle of the field to the sideline and chasing down. Most of the time it's running backs that he's chasing down. And I think that goes underappreciated. But, I went back and looked at some of his combine numbers, and the guy is pretty dang fast for being as big as he is. Even back then, he was 328 pounds at the combine, and he was running a 5:09 40-yard dash, I believe it was. And you look around, and the only guys at his position that were keeping up with that sort of speed or better were about 30 pounds lighter than him. And guys that, were his weight back then or 10 pounds more were like 0.2 of a second slower than him. So, I think Zimmer found something in him, probably somewhat based off of his combine performance, but also what he did early with the Giants, and felt he was a bit underappreciated with the Giants. And so the one thing that I thought was really kind of cool about Linval's run was, not only him showing off a little bit of his speed, for as much as a 329-pound guy can be fast, but also, there was Barr and Kendricks, a couple other guys there just leading the blocking brigade for him. And it was a return to the defense having some fun, which things have not been very fun for this defense most of this year. And so I thought that was kind of enjoyable to see them, just have something to celebrate.
And what was really fun is Linval, after scoring his touchdown, going to the bench and giving us a nice meme.
I mean, it's amazing how many people on TV were laughing about it, and all over the internet you could see people just pointing out Big Linval. He's got his skull cap on, he's got his shades on, he's got his oxygen attached to him. And I don't know how many plays it was that he was out after that, but it was a handful of them before he was back on the field and able to make a difference. But it was fun for people to kind of see his personality a little bit come out with not only the run back, but just his attitude on the sideline after. It was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, and I talked to him after the game, wrote a column about him, and he wore his pink suit for breast cancer awareness, and he looked good in it. It wasn't like a joke. It wasn't a joke pink suit. He looked good. White loafers, no socks. And the cool thing was, like, everybody was helping him get dressed. Like, one teammate would help him button the top button on his shirt. Another guy would pull the back of his undershirt down. It was just very obvious how much regard they all have for him and how much they love him. And he's a cool personality. He is. Yeah, let's thank our primary sponsor, WhizKids.tech, WHIZKIDS.tech. We're proud to have them as sponsors on our program. They are a Minneapolis company that's growing fast, and now they have a big billboard on Washington